Hi, Frank Thacker here, and welcome to the Daily Peacemaker. So the other day I'm with a friend, and he starts asking me these questions about the Daily Peacemaker, the podcast. And he says, how long you been doing that? Does it cost you any money or time or energy? How long does it take you to do one of those podcasts? Why are you doing it? Does anybody even listen to it? Do you even know that anybody listens to it? And on and on and on he went. So I've been doing these podcasts for a little over 2 years now. Yes, it does take some time and energy and a little money. I have a website guy that takes these and puts them on all over different platforms, so I pay him a monthly fee. As to why, that made me think a little bit. Why? Why are you doing these things? And I realized that there's a number of different reasons that all are tied together. I believe that it really is possible for humans to create a culture of peace, one in which the dignity and worth of every person is honored and respected, or every living being. And people say, oh man, this guy's a dreamer. My friends say, you live in an ivory tower, because all you see is wars and people shooting each other and fighting about this, fighting about that. And that's true if you watch certain media outlets. If you go other places, like one really good example, International Cities of Peace, which, by the way, was started by one person, just this ordinary guy that worked in finances, and he left that because he felt a call to do something to improve conditions around the world. So there are over there's 380. Another one just came online, International Cities of Peace around the world. And in each of those cities, there are ordinary people doing some wonderful things about bringing their community together and spreading that out to other communities. This week actually is Unity Week, which, if you go to Unity Week, you will see a series of podcasts, live events of people around the world working for unity. And I just started watching, I guess it's a series of documentaries. I think it's called Greening of America, and it showcases different people, ordinary, everyday people, doing different things about the environment. An oyster farm, another farm where they raise cattle and take all that food, cattle and other kind of other vegetables, and take that food and distribute it to the local food bank. So there's just tons of really good things going on. So I really believe that we humans, can create a culture of peace. I believe that we are all interrelated. So even a small thing that I might do or you might do vibrates out across the planet. So there's that piece. I believe that ordinary people, that any change has to come from the bottom up. Ordinary people like you and I doing what we can to create this culture of peace. So all those pieces come together, and there's so much going on about how we are interrelated. All the great religion traditions teach that, and now science is beginning to see how everything is interconnected. And the fact of the internet, how someone could be watching this podcast in China, or there'll be a Zoom conference that you can tune into, even though it's on the other side of the planet. So there's tremendous potential right now for humans to create this culture of peace, both by ordinary people doing what they can do and by the fact that we are so interrelated. And that, so why am I doing these particular podcasts? I'm, what's the right way to say this? I've been blessed by learning a lot about nonviolence. So I have a lot of knowledge about that. And at one point, how am I going to say this? So I was inspired to start doing this podcast. There were some podcasts that I was watching around a different topic, and I got this insight to, boom, why don't you do podcasts around nonviolence? Put things out there. I'm not bragging, but I do know a lot about nonviolence. I try to practice it. I'm far from perfect in that area, but I was really inspired to do these podcasts, and that's why I do them. Sometimes it's another point. Sometimes it's hard to motivate myself to do a podcast because it does take some time and energy, some thought, and I go back to that point at which I received this real inspiration. It really like, boom, why don't you do a podcast on nonviolence? It was a real energy blast. And yes, that dissipates over time, but it's helpful to go back and remind myself of that inspiration and to keep going forward. And I think all of us and each of us have gifts that no one else has, and that we hopefully can find a way to express those in our everyday life and in the world that we can do. So that I think is an important thing. Sometimes it's difficult to really identify something that you feel strongly about. Other times it's like, wow, you really know it. You know that this, whatever it might be, it could be playing music, writing songs, building a business, working in a garden for a landscaper, something that you really energizes you and you really feel passionate about it. So part of it is finding that and then finding a way to express that. But I think we can all do that. So that's kind of why I do it. So you got the fact that I believe we can create a culture of peace, the fact that we are all interrelated and that makes things move a lot quicker, the fact that each of us has a gift or maybe more than one gift, and the key there is to be able to identify that, which takes some work sometimes, and then finding a way to express that. So the point of this podcast, and I love saying someone's talking, rambling on, I sometimes am a little violent, maybe, when I say, what's the point? I think going on and on. So the point of this is, hopefully from this example of me, someone might find some inspiration to pursue their gifts and help in creating this culture of peace. So I'll end with that. And as always, thank you for listening. Good to be with you. Comments, insights are always appreciated. So with that, let us walk in harmony, and may peace be with you. You all take care.